Oh, so you think being a boss is the answer to all your problems? It's a lot of people that are on the outside and look in and think that, hey, hey, he's a boss. He has it sweet. But what a lot of people don't understand is, as the boss, I got to be the hardest worker on the team. If somebody shows up late, guess who has to do that job until that person comes? The boss. If somebody shows up to work and they have to fill a new spot and they don't know the work they need to do, guess who has to show them the work? The boss. Guess who knows all the work? The boss. Guess who got to keep the shelves stocked up and make sure that we have enough product or merchandise, or depending on what we're doing? Guess who has to make sure that we have back stock in order to keep this business successful, in order to make sure all the workers get paid? The boss. If you working 8 hours and 10 hours and you can't stand it, as a boss, you might have 20 hours a day. It's not easy. The supervisor has it more difficult than the workers, because the supervisor has to govern themselves and a few workers. The worker just has to govern himself, and that's it. The boss has to govern the supervisor, the workers, and make sure that we have enough product. If we have a fabrication shop, I need to make sure that we have enough metal in this fabrication shop so we can be progressive, keep churning products, moving at a good rate of speed in order to fulfill orders. I have to stay on top of these things. As a boss, it's not easy. While the workers are home after their 8-hour, 10-hour shift, guess who's still working? Me, the boss. That's who's still working. So being a boss is not the end of all your problems. It's the beginning. You have to have it in you. If you don't have it in you, you can't do it. Listen, if you're not driven and motivated on an 8-hour shift on somebody else's clock, what do you think you're going to do with all the freedom you have to say, I don't want to go to work today? How are you going to govern yourself when you can't govern yourself? How you think you're going to govern yourself as a boss when you can't even govern yourself as a worker? You have to understand, the boss is the hardest worker, period. Then with the total control of having control of your time, saying, look, I'm not going to go to work today, or I'm going to go and have a mediocre day, you're going to find yourself kicking yourself in the butt. You're not going to make it. You're not going to be a success, because successful people have control of their lives, whether they're on another person's clock or whether they're on their own clock. People who succeed are very good workers. They once was very good workers. It's your work ethic. If I don't have a work ethic, guess what? When I'm a boss and I still never gained the concept of having a good work ethic, my business is going to fail. So you can't sit back and just look on just standing on the outside and looking in and think that a person has a good situation because of a certain title. It's sometimes that I'm up on a Wednesday at 3 a.m. paying all the workers and making sure that everything is straight, counting my clock. And then guess what? I got to get up at 6, only 3 hours of sleep. I got to get up at 6 to go run a shift while I might get off at 6. Think about it. Being a boss is not easy. Being a boss is not the answer to your problems. Being a boss takes structure. You have to be motivated, a self-starter, team player, people person. You have to be smart. You have to be educated. You have to be able to mingle and carry conversations with all different people from all different walks of life. You have to be a multitasker to be a boss. If you don't have these qualities as a worker, it's no way that you're going to get a business and all of a sudden these qualities are just going to come to you out of thin air. Being a boss is like a transition from high school to college. You know, in high school, the teachers will hold your hand and try to make you do, make you do your work and remind you and all that. But once you step into college, you have to remind yourself. Now, if you couldn't remind yourself or start reminding yourself in your senior year as a high schooler, when you get into college, you're not going to just boom, pop up out of thin air and just all of a sudden you're just this self-starter and self-motivator and you remember everything. Everything takes practice. So in the meanwhile, focus on being a good worker. Be great at that before you focus on even thinking about being a boss or a business owner. Because you want to win. You don't want to fail. You want to keep climbing up that ladder. We trying to go beyond the sky. The sky is not the limit. We're trying to go to the moon, the stars, into the galaxy. We're trying to rise beyond. But never sit back and think that just because a person has a title or a certain position that they have life better than you. No, it takes skills to have certain titles, and those certain titles, yes, they do pay well. But it's never something that's easy. It's never something that someone is just, oh, this person is just gifted. No, this person trained. This person listened. This person learned. So now they're in a position and they make more than you. But it still doesn't mean that it was sweet. It's a struggle. It's a fight. And the strong will prevail at the end of the day. It's the Trapper, man, and I'm out.